That's cool then. You know what you were getting yourself into. Right. Thank you all for watching another episode of Friendship Celebration Time, which is now the name. And today I'm here celebrating my most mysterious friend. Because I don't even know whether I should call you Tim or Timothy. So, because you introduce yourself a lot as Timothy, but everyone I know calls you Tim.
Sure.
So,
it has just been this habit I've gotten as a grown-up, I guess, as an adult. It's one of those things like, hello, I'm Timothy. That's like a professional greeting. After that, it's fine. Tim is fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like...
Good, because I mean, even like people super close to you, like Lark and stuff, I'll call you Tim, so I'm like, I hope that is appropriate to, like, that is your preferred, like, that you're okay. Okay, cool.
Last year, this meme went around a lot, and it got posted on my wall at least 2 or 3 times, and it's all like, everybody named Timothy goes by Tim, but never by Moth. So maybe I just gotta start doing that.
That's true. There are probably people who have called me son.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, son.
There are people that call me Jay, and I don't care for that. And then I'm more okay with people calling me Jace than Jay.
Wow. See, that makes sense, because you, it's Jason.
Yeah.
I have a buddy out west, and he is Jayson, so
okay.
Jay actually does make sense if it's, like, Blue Jay.
Yeah.
You know, but no, if it's... Yeah, JAS, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and so one thing I want to ask is, do you remember how we met?
The first time in my memory banks that I recall seeing you, I believe it was at the Farmington and 5 Barefoot Productions, back when they were in Livonia. I want to say the first time I ever encountered you was at an MDI meetup, if memory serves correctly. It was just one of those short form sessions. I believe Madeline was running it that day, and you were eager to get up, and I was like, cool, this guy's gun ho. So, and you had kept coming to them, and I think we kept running into them there, and then eventually we did shows together.
Yeah, that is how I recall it as well, that's the first time. Now, I saw you prior to that in a video from Ted. You were testing out a game that he was doing a recording of. So I saw you in that, and then when I actually met you, I was like, oh wait, that's the guy from that video that I saw a couple years ago.
Yes.
So there was that, but yeah. And then I also, to build on that meetup, the first game that I had ever done with you was when we did Challenge. Oh. So that was like the first time I actually performed with you was in Challenge.
Were we on the same team, or were we...
We were opposed. I was calling out how uncool you are.
That's not hard.
It was raincoats versus umbrellas. Okay. And, yeah, so, yeah. You had made a claim about you being cool, and you did jump right back in saying, that's right, I'm not cool, and you continued. But yeah,
yes and.
Yeah, it's about and knowing yourself.
Yes.
I mean, you seem very cool because you are friends with, like, we have more mutual friends, I think, than anyone else, like, online, where you get to see mutual friends and stuff. I think you and I have more mutual friends.
So our Venn diagrams are almost a circle.
Yes, yeah. We have a lot of people in common that we associate with.
Sure.
And then, is there anything that I don't know about you that you would like me to know about you?
Let's see. I have my tonsils still.
Oh.
I never got my tonsils removed.
Either have I.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's another thing in common. Another thing about my mouth. When I had my wisdom teeth taken out, I had double sets, so I didn't have the traditional 4. I had 8 teeth taken out of my head, like right after high school.
I've never had teeth removed.
No?
No. My wisdom teeth were coming in, and in my early 20s, and they were very painful.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to need to get this addressed. And then they receded a little bit. And they're still there. I can still feel them poking up in my gums a little bit, but nothing hurts and nothing seems like a problem. And I've been to the dentist several times since then. And yeah, it's not an issue. So I've avoided having to have my wisdom teeth out.
Do you have your appendix still?
I do.
I got mine too. Yeah.
So wait a second.
That was one of those weird holdovers from evolution. Isn't it funny that, the human body's imperfect?
What I'm worried about is we are now susceptible to organ theft. That if anyone is looking, like, we've just put a target on our backs.
Oh, man.
I mean, if people want tonsils or an appendix...
For what? All right,
a lot of science happens.
All right, and we gotta protect ourselves right now. Okay, I only have one kidney and 30% of my liver, so yeah.
You have one kidney.
Yeah, that's a lie. Jason's trying to throw him off the scent from organ theft.
Here I am, completely believing everything you say. One thing that, as I said, you are very mysterious, and you're basically like if I were to categorize all my friends as Legend of Zelda games, you would be the Majora's Mask of the Zelda friends because of how mysterious you are. There's stuff going on here that I don't quite understand.
I don't have to worry about, Jason. I'm just a dormant, fierce deity that one day you can awaken if you do enough side quests.
So with that, I'm trying to not just ask a bunch of Zelda questions now, but, so, is there a reason why you tend to keep things so close, like, to yourself? Or do you not even realize that you are as mysterious as you are?
I don't know. I was just thinking about that today, actually, because I'm going to be having to write a couple program notes. I'm just realizing, like, man, I've never said that I'm a graduate from the theater department, or I've never really said I'll say thanks for friends and family, like come see me and this coming up, or like that, but I'll never say so like, oh, I'm so grateful for my cat and it's like. Or like my home, or like naming people specifically often in my programs. I'm just like, I don't know. It's just like it doesn't. Somebody else has to write my biography for me. I'm not going to do an autobiography.
And they're just going to have to make stuff up just based off of the little bit that we know about you, and then just fill in the blanks.
That's fine. Go ahead and keep it mysterious. Keep yourself amused and others confused.
That's what I thought that you might have been doing on purpose.
Kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I know you've been questioned about your work many times, and still, like, I've worked with you for almost 2 years now. Yeah, I've known you for 2 years now, and I still don't know a lot about you. Yet we do so much stuff together. And I'm shocked that I don't know as much just about you personally.
Well, I don't know. I guess I just show up on set and let's get this done. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I mean, there's maybe post-pandemic like stuff isn't open late anymore. Like I remember, of course, back in the day, you're done with your tabletop game session or you're done with your show, you go to a Denny's or whatever's open late. Max and Irma's we used to go to when that was a thing. Let's see here, what else is still open late? Gosh, a Greasy Spoon or something like that. You want to go to a 24-hour Coney, and it's just like, maybe you just like hang out, but that's not really a thing anymore after COVID. So it's just like haven't really gotten to do that with a lot of my casts.
Yeah, I think the closest thing we did was going to, I think, Winter Garden. I think that's what it's called.
Right. Yeah.
I know we've done that a few times after some shows, but that's like really the only thing I can think of.
And yeah, that's just only maybe after one performance.
Yeah.
It's not an every time thing.
Yeah. I also didn't, I knew you loved cats, but I did not know you had a cat.
I tolerate cats.
Oh.
Let's be real.
Oh.
No, I am a friend to all four-legged creatures, and some two-legged.
What are some animals that you like that aren't typically pets?
Giraffes.
Giraffes, okay.
Yeah, they're cool. They're awkward horses with necks. And then you can feed them, and and their lips kind of feel like, and their tongues are very similar to like a cat's. It's very fuzzy and yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I clearly had no idea that that's what you'd say. I also didn't realize that your view on cats was not as enthusiastic. That
I have one cat. I found her in a parking lot in the complex I lived at in Ypsilanti at the time when I was working out that way. She was a dumpster diver. We tried to wrangle her a couple of times, set out food, tried to grab her. Got her in a lobster trap that the Humane Society left out. So kept her overnight, then took her to the Huron Valley shelter. They had a lot in their kennels, I guess, as it were. I guess it was just after a big like summer or fall birth wave or whatever. Okay. Whenever cats have kittens. I was just like, and I just kind of...
Cat mating season?
Yeah. I just kind of vaguely left a note like, if no one claims her or you need free up space, just call me. And they blew up my phone like within a few days. Just like, please take this tortie. She's freaking out and she needs a place. They didn't even charge me. They rang her up as a barn cat. She wasn't. But I still gave a donation and stuff like that. So it's like one of those things like, free cat.
That's how we ended up with a lot of our pets. Mm-hmm. It was either, most of them, pets that other people were getting rid of and the pet needed a home. Yeah. That's how we got a majority of our pets. Mm-hmm. And then my daughter rescuing pets from the streets and things like that. So, yeah, we ended up with a lot of pets just from trying to make sure that pets had homes.
Oh, yeah. Go for rescues, not breeders, folks. Puppy mills, it's a scar on humanity.
Would you ever take me in if
you need
found
shelter?
myself?
Yeah. A spare bedroom, whatever.
All right.
Got a couch.
And I'm one of your two-legged animal friends.
Yeah.
What is another one of your two-legged animal friends?
Let's see here. I guess my younger brother. He's a biped, and so he's pretty nice. I don't know any birds off the top of my head that I've befriended, so yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not great with animals, but I like them. I mean, we don't have any pets here right now, just because I don't feel I'm the best at taking care of them.
Well, get a cat. They take care of themselves. See, again, like the whole thing is like, I have a cat. She is very low maintenance for the most part.
Does she ever take care of you?
Yeah, sometimes, when I'm sick and she just gets into Lapland and it's just like, it's nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how so I know that you're very big into movies. Was there a particular movie that got you started into like really getting into them?
Like really studying movies, or just like one of my favorites?
I guess it would be wanting you to be interested in like whether it's pursuing acting or watching more movies, like a movie where you said, wow, okay, I really enjoy this medium. Like anything like that. I
guess I could definitely, I could do the, typical cinephile answer of Charlie Chaplin. I recall one year my grandfather was just getting rid of stuff in his basement, and just some art he had, and like up in the attic down in the basement. He gave my younger brother this a fun little rendition of the Beatles in kind of this Renaissance painting looking thing.
Okay.
So that was fun. So he got into music in a different way. And then he gave me this poster for Charlie Chaplin's The Kid. It's not like a paper poster, it's like on felt, some materials. Still have it in storage somewhere. But I just remember it's all like, oh, okay, so this guy's a big deal. He was a big like golden age of Hollywood thing. So that made me go back and like watch movies. I'm like, oh, this doesn't have sound. Well, it's got like maybe piano in the background, and speaky cards and stuff like that, and physical and facial acting from everybody on the cast and used to convey their points. So I definitely did a deep dive with Charlie Chaplin. Then that course led to Buster Keaton, and then that course led to films by Billy Wilder, and that so on and so forth, and through the history of Hollywood.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess you could blame Grandpa.
Is there... So I know you're also really big into tabletop gaming and that sort of thing. Do you have a favorite? Like, is Dungeons and Dragons one of, like, your, if you're going to sit down with a game, is that probably your favorite, or do you have others that you typically like to do?
Of course, always have to have your notebook and your dice handy. Dungeons and Dragons is definitely the genesis of my role-playing tabletop games. I definitely do enjoy Pathfinder still, and Monster of the Week. Those are also very fun to get campaigns going together, or even just easy sessions. Trying to get into Vampire the Masquerade, so I still need to familiarize myself with the core mechanics of that, but the storytelling aspect is pretty darn awesome. D&D is definitely an easy go-to, because I feel like it is so readily available to even just casual gamers.
Yeah.
They can definitely onboard on, and it's easy enough to pick up basics and help out anybody who's just like, oh, what do I add? Oh, that right there. All these RPGs are pretty malleable to fit in whatever setting you want, be it olden timey, be it high fantasy Tolkien style, or steampunk, cyberpunk future. You can definitely adapt it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I should go back and review Cyberpunk. Yeah.
I think my daughter just started playing Cyberpunk.
Nice.
And I know my sister long ago was getting into Vampire Masquerade. I don't know how much she's played it, but yeah, those are two that I've heard a little bit about, but haven't played a ton of. Mm-hmm. And then
I'm scared to try to ever get into Warhammer or Magic together, because I know I just won't have, one, the physical real estate for miniatures or deck building, and two, just the cost. It's just like...
Yeah, Magic the Gathering, I had a friend who brought over his cards, and they were really cool to look at, like, when it first came out. He came over and was showing me his cards. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. He never got a chance to show me how to play, but it was fun looking at the cards. And then, in my early 20s, I'd started playing a little bit, and then... Yeah, it got a little bit pricey. Like, you could buy some decks here and there, but I didn't go all out into making the perfect deck and stuff like that. And then you'd play with people. There's one guy who I played with once in a while, and he would do all of these infinite damage builds. So all his decks, as soon as he got certain things going, it's like, oh yeah, there's infinite damage happening. Mm-hmm. And it just, I don't know, it made it to where it's like, yeah, all right, that's a good strategy. I'm glad that works for you. It just takes away, some of the fun. So I'd still play it. Like, last time I played it, I think was a couple years ago, with Hunter. And so, because we still have our cards and stuff, so I don't buy new cards. I just play with the older ones that I've had. And then, Warhammer, Hunter was also interested in checking out some of that. So we did go into some stores and look at some of the stuff, but there was no way that we were going to start investing in anything like that.
It can be a lot. The lore seems pretty cool from what I've heard on different reviews and stuff, but and I guess maybe they're going to make a movie or miniseries out of it, so...
Oh, yeah, I'd heard that they were trying to do some stuff like that. They're probably going to come after me as well, because I encourage people to start their 3D printing rings. Oh, yes. Their underground 3D printing circumventions.
Hey, you bought the printer. What else are you going to do with it?
You're going to make custom Warhammer figures. Right. But yeah, aside from that, I am curious how, and this is kind of going a little bit of a different direction, but something that I was wondering, there are a couple things that might tie in together. One is, in the last few years, how do you feel you've changed?
I feel I've changed.
Yeah, because I know that you seem pretty similar in the couple years that I've known you, but I'm not sure if there's been anything, like, growth-wise that you might have done or anything like that the last several years?
Well, I like to think I've calmed down a little bit. I try to, whenever there's new people in an improv meetups and stuff like that, instead of like jumping on right away, because I used to do it like anytime there was something new to try, I'd be like, let's try it. Now it's just all like, okay, I've been doing improv since 2002. I can taper myself, or like, pump the brakes a second. Let the person try something they haven't tried before. So I can do improv until the cows come home. But it's just like one of those things. It's like back in high school, I'd be like, yeah, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna jump up every time. Now it's just like, no, let it breathe. Let the scene form. Be patient. Wait for a gift. Wait for somebody to explore the space or the scene. Let them have that.
Yeah. Have you been doing improv consistently since 2002, or have there been points where you've taken a break?
There's definitely been gaps where I haven't been with a troupe or with a regular meetup. But on again, off again, improv's always in the back pocket.
Okay.
Even use it in a pinch for scripted material, if it happens.
There was like a 20-year period where I just didn't do much. Like I did a little bit in 2008, and then a little bit in like 2004, and so yeah, and it wasn't until I started going back to the meetups in 2021 where I've been able to start getting back into it regularly, where I've been to, with the exception of when I had COVID, I was at every single meetup that MDI has done since I started going. But yeah, before that, you said you did improv in high school. Did your high school put on shows and stuff like that?
They did. Again, I had joined the after-school improv club my freshman year. Obviously, I was a freshman. I, was just still learning the ropes and the basics of the foundations of improv. So I wasn't cast until the senior showcase. So like the teacher mentor is all like, no, you're not ready. But then the seniors are like, yeah, get up there. So got at the very end of the school year, got into one show.
So now I have a couple more questions. First of all, did your school have a forensics team? Just like acting and speaking competitions?
Yeah, I believe they
like
did.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to Plymouth Canton Educational Park. It's a complex with 3 high schools in one campus. And so, they had, it's big. Population boom. You gotta accommodate a lot of youngsters. But yeah, no, it was great. There was, the drama society, there was the musical kids, there was the improv kids, there's the dance kids, there was the band kids, everybody. So.
Did you, like when you were in the improv stuff in high school and in the show and stuff, was that all short form, or did you do like long form and stuff in high school too?
We didn't introduce long form until much later in the program. I think in my junior or senior year we started exploring a long form structure called the Herald. I believe it was generated from the Improv Olympic out of Chicago. So we started dabbling into that later on as the club grew and as the retention of upperclassmen stayed around. Definitely dabbled into both sketch comedy and longer form improv. So got to start writing stuff too. So.
Do you have a preference of whether you like scripted material or improvised material better?
I mean, my first love is definitely improv. It gave me the theater bug. Is there some stuff out there that's scripted that cracks me up every time? Absolutely. But yeah, improv, it's theater without a net, which scares a lot of people. But for me, it's kind of freeing because I don't have to memorize anything other than like the running order of the games and how to like introduce them maybe, and like who's going to be in the scene. Announcements, I guess, but after that, the space is infinite and the possibilities endless. So,
yeah, my favorite thing about it is just that you get to play. It's just people up on stage playing and having fun, and so that's always really cool. Yeah. Do you have favorite games or types of scenes or anything like that that you tend to like doing?
Let's see here. Some staples are, of course, it's called Switch Left or Force Square sometimes. Multiple scenes happening through multiple partners.
It's also one of my favorites.
Very good. I like that ever since, starting out. Let's see here. Fractured Fairy Tale is a fun one. I don't think we've ever got to play it at MDI, so I'm going to see if I can suggest some short form stuff that we haven't played yet.
I actually try to run stuff that we haven't played, and I don't know if I did run a Fairy Tale one, but I don't know if it was the same one by a different name. What does Fractured Fairy Tale? How does that go?
Oftentimes we have two improvisers that are going to go through the story. It could be a story from like the Grimm's Fairy Tale, or it could be a story based off the suggestion of somebody's day. So like, what did you do today? I filed my taxes. All right, this is the fairy tale of filing your taxes. So our Hansel and Gretel person are going to go through. They're going to talk to a helpful person. They're going to talk to a not helpful person, a protagonist or antagonist or something like that. And then they're going to be like go solve the challenge and of course make it up as they go along, and then come to either happily ever after or a cautionary tale at the end of it.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
There's also a version where there's a writer at like a typewriter writing out the story, and then the actors on the back line are acting it out as they narrate. The narrator can be swapped out, kind of like a freeze tap.
Okay, I was gonna run. Take over. I was actually gonna run that style of a game. I've heard it called Novel and a couple other things. Yeah. But yeah, same idea. So yeah, I was actually gonna run that next time I run them.
That's a good one. I hope I'm not in Tech Week for that.
Yeah, that's Yeah, I know you're in a lot of shows. You got cast just recently in a show that I almost auditioned for.
Oh, you didn't come out? So, you should come out.
No, I thought about it, but I'm like, I have all these other projects that I'm doing. I should probably focus on those. Because also I have a show that might be going up. I wasn't sure when because we had a board meeting Tuesday with Players Guild of Dearborn. So
this is the unscripted.
Yeah, this is the unscripted one. Yeah. And that one, the board meeting went very well. There seemed to be good reception for the idea. They talked about where it would be done, some of the logistics of it, but said they're going to discuss it further at the next board meeting and actually vote on it.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't have an answer yet.
Is it just one of many proposals, or they?
They had 3 proposals that day.
Okay.
And this one they did seem receptive on. There was another one that had like dances that they're going to be doing, like teaching different styles of dance and stuff, to members of the guild. Sure. So that, and I guess the person running it has done it in other places in the past. So that one also got well received, so they may be doing that too. And then I guess one thing that is interesting, and I will go into why I'm asking this after I ask this question and see your answer. So what is a question you have for me?
Let's see. What are you more driven to do? Because you are an actor, an improviser, a playwright, and a game designer. What is this thing that sparks joy the most in you? Like what gets you out of bed in the morning?
So it's very difficult between improvising and making games, like developing board games and stuff like that. I feel I am best at making games. That is, if I'm going to succeed at anything, I feel like that's going to be the thing I succeed at. But I really have so much fun just improvising, going up on stage and playing. Like I've been doing that since I was 12. I mean, officially when I was improvising, I've been doing it since it was 12, like playing short form games. And forcing my friends to play them when they come over. So.
Right.
Stephen, if you're watching this, I hope you had fun playing improv games with me when you come over as kids.
In the vein of your game designing, then, because I am in a playtest group with some of our other colleagues and friends, and maybe I asked you this before, before we even started playtesting, but for your for this game we're in, this tabletop RPG,
yeah,
exactly how many hours or even years did it take for you to form it? Because it's such an expansive universe and such an extensive list of items and classes and races and
yeah. So the idea started in December of 2020 is when I started actually writing it down and getting ideas together. Basically, I was playing D&D with Hunter and my cousin, and afterwards I was saying, it'd be really cool if we had a setting that kind of was like some of these video games. That would be really cool. And then I was like, I need to go upstairs to my computer right now and start writing this down. And we were talking about some of the various ways it could work and stuff like that. And immediately I had these ideas, and I'm like, okay, I need to get moving on this. So at the time, I was on disability, so my income was just through existing. And so I had all the time in the world. So I would then hyper-focus, and autistic brain took over, and it was, okay, I am doing this for 18 hours of my day. I'm typing this all out. I'm writing out every, piece of damage that this ability would do and what this modification would do, and, just doing that. And I worked on that, from December till, February, end of February, and it was, all I did in those few months. I don't know how many hours I put into it, but it was every single day for at least 12 hours a day working on this thing.
You're like the Stephen King of tabletop games.
Thank you. And then I took a little break once I finished the first thing, tried getting rights because the original design used licensed properties, tried getting the rights to run that, couldn't, and so then I'm like, okay, well, I did get a weird permission, though. The weird permission was, I can't release it, I can't publish it, but if I made a video series, and I even asked their legal team over at Nintendo, right. I said, if I were to make some videos where we reference, just speaking, some things like the words Fireflower or Triforce, could that be allowed? And she said, I'm not going to say either way, but that does not sound like anything we would bother with. So that is what I heard from Nintendo about that. So I'm like, cool, I'll just keep working on it as is and make it a video series. But then I realized I would really like to release it, and so it was, okay, let's remove all licensing ideas, start over, kind of merge ideas, start creating some original concepts, and kind of make it a world of our own. So then I worked with Hunter on developing more of the world and spent more months doing that, spent probably about 5 or 6 months developing the adventures that we are currently testing. It's just a whole bunch, so that was that rant. So the reason I asked that question, for you to ask me a question, was to see, because you can learn a lot about a person by what they ask other people. Mm-hmm. So I didn't learn anything from that, so that failed.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it matches what I know of you already, but I didn't learn anything new. It's like, oh yeah, he does have an interest in that sort of thing. So, at this point, I'm going to ask you to finish this statement. Start it with Jason as your friend, and then finish it however you want.
Jason, as your friend, I hope you achieve your short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals.
Thank you.
Whatever you have planned for the next week, whatever you have planned for the next 3 months, and whatever you have planned for the next 5 years.
You seem to be involved in most of those, so I do hope...
I hope we both get there. And if we crash and burn, then so be it. We learned something.
That's right. And there may be some crashing and burning.
It's not failure.
That's right.
It's experience. If I had more time, I would have brought a cake, because it's celebration time.